Hello everybody out there in the music following community. This is Mike coming at you, Soldier 777, and I figure show you another West Spinning video, and also in combination with that, this is a response to Torrential Riff video, Jeremy, when he did a review of one of his albums that he did on his channel. So let's get right to it. An album that I had in my collection for a couple years, but I haven't gotten around to having a good thorough listen to it until yesterday. And this is from a iconic metal band, Christian metal band, and been around since the mid '80s. And this is sort of a fun album. I wouldn't call it a great album. Um, it is a good album, and the band is Deliverance, Subversive kind. I call it more of a fun album. And if I were to compare this to one of the previous albums, it's a lot like the album. It reminds me of the album "What a Joke." That's what it reminds me of, and it's kind of got that. I kind of look at it as one of those venting albums where Jimmy Brown is venting his opinions of other people about what he thinks of what their opinions are, their attitudes. That's what this album is. Kind of got that sarcastic undertone in the album. And anyway, so it came out back 2018, and yeah. Anyway, so it's a good album. Got 8 songs, a short album, probably clocking about right around a half hour, a little more than a half hour, comments over a half hour. And it's got some great tunes on it, such as The Backhand. It's probably my favorite tune of the album. Concept of the Other, Center of It All, that kind of thing. So there you have it, Deliverance, Subversive kind. If you don't have this one, I recommend you getting this. It's a good album. I'm not sure if it's as good as What a Joke or Weapons or the first album, but it is up there. If I were to rank this album of the dozen or more albums he put through the years, I'd probably rank this round in the middle category. So there you have it, Deliverance, Subversive kind. Now, as you may know, there's a band that was around in the 80s, and they only put out one album, and I think they were around since around 1980, 81, and they broke up around 1990. And the reason is, which I'll talk about when I show this band. But here's a band called Zion. There you have it. And it's a one album band. Actually, put 2 albums. It was this one and Thrill Seeker was a compilation album of demos put out by Retroactive Records around 2007. So, but if you talk about like actual professionally recorded album, this is the only one I have out. And Jeremy, you have a different version than I got. I think you might have the original pressing. Mine is probably the second pressing because mine's got the Zion logo here. And it's got the colored Zion in the back, where you got the yellow Zion logo in the back there. There you have it. That's the difference between yours and mine, Jeremy. There you have it. There you have it. And so if I were to compare this band to other bands, it kind of reminds me of Helix, Def Leppard, sort of the AC/DC vibe. The song I think He Loves You, so I got that AC/DC vibe, and that kind of thing. Also, I hear a bit of a couple of middle songs. I hear a bit of April Wine kind of flair in some songs as well. So that's what the sound of this band reminds of: Helix, Def Leppard, AC/DC, and a little bit of April Wine kind of vibe through this album. And it's got 9 songs. Who Pulls Strings? Great tune. Kicking the Gates is it the Crime? Help Me is a power ballad. Thrill Seeker, So You Lie. Roller Rock, another great tune. Less of Me and He Loves You. I think my favorite songs are probably the first 3 ones I just mentioned, and the last 3. And of course that ballad is pretty good too. Help Me. So there you have it. Now I got the Thunder from the Mountain 2.0. That's what the album's called, Thunder from the Mountain, and and it's just a digipack, very cheap digipack. There you have it. With a little envelope to put the disc in. There you have it. I got the vinyl on order. I still don't have it yet from Guru Music. There you have it. Here's the back part. Now, Jeremy wanted me to do I listened to this album there. This is not a part of my What's Spinning video, but I'm also in the response to Jeremy of Torrential Riff. I listened to there the other evening. Listened to half the songs one evening, and listened to because I got called away to a family need, and listened to the other half of the songs last night. Now, this album here is a very polished album. Of course, produced by David Zafiro. As you know, he also produced another band, Holy Soldier, as well. So David Zafiro produced this album, and it's sort of a polished album. You know what you expect from a late '80s band. This one here, now when I compared these two albums on my computer, people complain because it's too bassy. When I listen to this album on my surround sound, everything sounds pretty much balanced. When I listen to on my computer speakers, I adjusted the treble a little bit to turn back ease back in the bass, and you pretty much take care of the bassness. When I listen to compare both albums for loudness, this album is much more louder in terms of like thicker drums, thicker guitars. The bass is more pronounced, and the effects is more pronounced. You know, the vocals and the other effects. What else I want to say? The song "Less of Me," which is the 8th song of this one, and the last one, this one. I think I know the reason why the order was changed. And Jeremy, this is for you. "Less of Me" was a song they could not find the original masters of. They had to remix. They only remixed the song, but the other songs were they found the original masters, and they recorded the song and remixed it. If that makes sense. Not re-record in terms of playing instruments in the studio, but re-record in terms of taking the masters and rebuilding the song from the ground up. But I think "Less of Me" was only remastered, because when I listen to both versions on this album on my computer, both sound very similar. Except "Less of Me" is a little bit more clearer, bit more a louder factor. But the other songs are completely different in terms of like the sound. Also, they concluded a previous demo that was on the Thrill Seeker album compilation as a demo, but they also got the one called "Big Fall," a great tune, a 6-minute song, a great tune. That's song number 8. So this one originally had 9 songs. This made this a 10 song album. Now, back to the bass part. Like I said, when I listened to this in the car, and I eased back on the bass in my car, or made everything more balanced, or in my computer speakers, it sounded fine. The only song, there's a song or two which is kind of hard to slack back on the bass, was "Is It a Crime?" You know how the song kicks in, and with the bass seems to be up front compared to the other songs. So to me, it seems like that when they did a job to redo the songs, they were all done pretty good. The only song I have an issue with is It a Crime? That's the only one I have issue with. Everything else is pretty much sounds pretty good. And of course, Less of Me is not much change in the song. Like I said, this album's pretty good. Production-wise is pretty good, but a few songs had sort of thin production. The thickness of this album takes care of the thin production of this album, but the song "Less of Me" on both versions still has that sort of a thin production. So I think if they found a master of "Less of Me," it would sound much better, more thicker. So, and "Is It a Crime?" as a review, "It Is a Crime" is only song really that sounds unbalanced or a bit heavy in the bass, but the other songs sound pretty good. So like I said, that's a little tip for you. If you listen to this album and you normally have your bass turned up, when you listen to your music, just slack back on the bass and the treble bit on your whichever system you're using, and you won't have that issue. Like I said, overall it sounds pretty good. Now I got the record on order since November. Girders, I think, shipped my order because they had to wait on the Rockstock and Broth Angelica to come in. It was all part of the same package. When I spin the record in the future, I will show that in my video as well. And let you know my thoughts of as well. Because as you may know, when you master a record, they tend to there's a different mastering technique to records versus CD. So there you have it. So there you have it, folks. This is my combination of my What's Spinning video, and where I featured these two albums from these two classic bands, and also it's a response to Torrential Riff's video of my review of the Zion Thunder from the Mountains album. Okay, so there you have it, folks. I'm going to be shooting a few more videos there upcoming. Have a great day and all the best now. Bye now.